The following program is paid for and sponsored by Life Extension Foundation.
Thank you for joining us. Our special guest today is Scott Israel, Sheriff of Broward County, Florida. We are all experiencing a time in history in which social values and responsibility are undermined in an increasingly permissive, politically correct society. Too many people overlook all that we take for granted and all those who are committed to providing us with a safer environment. It is the law enforcement men and women who serve and protect while educating the public with their dedication, respect, courtesy, and integrity. Frankly, what would we do without them? Our show today is a tribute to these dedicated heroes, and we'll learn more following these messages.
Rejuvenate your skin from the inside out and the outside in. With 98.6% naturally derived ingredients, you experience vibrant skin from day one. Introducing the Alavita Regenerating Trio, a moisturizing and anti-aging solution. These three innovative products reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Alavita, a beautiful merging of nature and science. Learn more online today.
Hello, my name is Dave. I am a face of ALS. I'm here at the Gardens Wellness Center. There's a couple reasons why we're here. Number one, we're seeking holistic treatment and acupuncture treatments to prepare me for stem cell therapy coming up.
My experience with Gardens Wellness Center has definitely been life-changing.
I love Gardens Wellness.
I love Gardens Wellness Center.
For more information or a free consultation, call us at 561-422-4330.
Life Extension Foundation was established in 1977 and has grown to become the world's largest consumer-based anti-aging organization. Life-saving achievements taken for granted today were pioneered by Life Extension Foundation decades ago. Life Extension is currently funding $10 million a year in research on significantly extending a healthy human lifespan. Diseases that once plagued humanity have largely been eradicated by scientific innovation. 3 leading causes of death in 1900 compared with how people die today. Smallpox killed millions before it was eliminated in 1979. Life Extension funds research to fight biological aging so that it also will become a relic of the past. Log on to lifeextensionfoundation.org.
When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. A miracle, oh it was beautiful, magical. And then they showed me a world where I could be so dependable. Oh, intellectual, cynical.
Find magic again. Sprout by HP. With Intel RealSense technology inside, now you can bend the rules of creativity outside.
With us now is Sheriff Scott Israel. It's a privilege and pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me on.
We are living through interesting times in history, worldwide and of course here in the United States. What is new with law enforcement from your perspective?
Well, as you look back over the past couple of weeks, past year, certainly events in places like South Carolina, Ferguson, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Minnesota, it's a different time. You know, we've had ambush fire, we've had reprehensible assassins kill police officers in Dallas, and then again in Baton Rouge. We've had unjustified police shootings of citizens throughout our country. And it's my job as a leader, as a sheriff more than ever, is to make sure that our community understands you can't judge police officers by the poor conduct of a very few. And conversely, I won't allow our deputies to judge the citizens by the poor conduct of a very few. So it's a very, very tenuous time. You know, we've had many people buried over the past couple of months that should be having barbecues with their children and their families.
Absolutely astonishing how things can periodically get out of hand. And I find it reprehensible, frankly, on a personal note, that people can witness an unfortunate situation in one city, and then other people who don't even know who they are in another state will perpetrate atrocious behavior, hooliganism, under the pretext of feigned outrage. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, hate doesn't stamp out hate. Only love stamps out hate. I support the people's right to protest. As the sheriff of Broward County, I make sure that everybody has the right to protest. And we live in this great country of America. However, if you're going across the line and you're going to take a step towards violence or destroying other people's lives or destroying other property, no, we won't tolerate that. That's not going to happen.
Your department is one of the largest. Share with our audience some details with regard to BSO.
I work with about 6,000 people. As the sheriff of Broward County, I am elected. We provide police services to about 15 cities, the unincorporated areas. We provide fire services. We have the courthouse, the airport, the seaport, the jails. It's an incredibly large organization, and we have an incredible amount of responsibilities.
One of the largest accredited law enforcement agencies in the United States.
Sure is. Mm-hmm. And we are proud of that. You know, we're proud of the partnerships. I'm proud of the partnerships I've developed. You know, I've been called one of the more progressive sheriffs in the country. Certainly, I love the fact that the cornerstone of my administration has been community policing. I know that when we connect with communities, all communities, we immediately become a safer Broward County. And from the day we've taken a non-traditional approach to law enforcement. We still are law enforcement. We enforce the laws. But we do things like gun buybacks, grocery giveaways, uniting Broward events. We have homeless initiatives. We have outreach, a community outreach unit that I've created. We're doing things differently. We're connecting with the community, and people are noticing, and we've become safer.
It's interesting to point out that police chiefs are appointed, sheriffs are elected. Share your thoughts on that.
Well, I always feel that it's better to elect and appoint. You can't take politics out of it. People say when you're elected, it's politics. Well, when you're appointed, it's politics, because the people appointed you are elected. They're commissioners or mayors, so they all. So really, it's that's a wash. The important thing is, I've been around long enough to know that the power of the people is and always will be greater than the people in power. And when you have the opportunity or the choice to have a board make a decision and put somebody in place, or the people put somebody in place, I just firmly believe the people get it right, and I believe it's better to be elected than appointed. That's how I feel.
In this beautiful world, but where there's so much, though, on the other hand, superficiality and self-serving interests, you are reputed to be one individual who's more dedicated to the job than your own concerns for re-election. Your conscientiousness is known.
It's very nice of you. You know, I know it's from the heart, and it's very nice to hear. I think it's deplorable of elected officials to make decisions based on getting reelected. I've not made one decision based on getting reelected. I make my decisions on what's in the best interest of the Broward County citizen and resident, what's going to keep them safe, and that's how I make my decisions. And if I make the right decisions, I'll get reelected. Hopefully everybody's already starting to vote for me through early voting and what have you. And if I make me or any elected official, you make the wrong decisions, you won't get reelected. But the important thing is, don't make decisions on who's going to reelect me. Make the right decision. You know, be the elected official that you were put in place to be.
Absolutely, sir. I'd like us to continue, but right after these commercial messages. We'll be right back. We are back with Sheriff Scott Israel. Sheriff, our audience, I'm certain, would like to know about your background. You're from up north originally, I understand.
I am. I was born and raised in Bronx, New York, lived on Long Island. I graduated from Cortland University in upstate New York, played a little football up there. Came down to South Florida and became a police officer with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. I served there. I was going to do it for 1 or 2 years and retired 25 years later as a captain. I was in charge of community policing, SWAT, dive bomb, all the high liability units. And then I went on to become a police chief in Dade County in a city called North Bay. And then I ran for sheriff in 2008, unsuccessfully. Learned a lot, an awful lot. And then I ran in 2012 and became the sheriff of Broward County.
So what were some of the challenges you faced when you came into office, and tell us about your success rate?
Well, I had 3 huge challenges. Number 1 was to bring diversity to the agency. It seemed when I was running for sheriff and I went to meetings at the Broward Sheriff's Office were to have everybody kind of look like me. And it was the weak part of our agency. And now I've brought in people that look differently, think differently. We're white, we're black, we're Hispanic, we're gay, we're Christian, we're Jew. We're Broward County. There's not a child or a person who lives in Broward County that can't look in and out us and say, I can be like her, I can be like him. I'm very happy. So now we get hybrid ideas coming in. Not yours, not mine, but the best ideas, because everybody's represented. Secondly, the children. We're putting too many, having spent 37 years now in law enforcement, too many young kids are going to jail for misdemeanors. And they just shouldn't be in jail for these crimes. We're talking about fights, small amounts of marijuana, graffiti. Jail's not the place for these type of children. So through the robust civil citation program and the mandatory responsibilities I gave to our deputies, not to arrest the kids, but to put them in civil citation. So the youngster gets help in narcotics, anger management, alcohol, mental health issues. We've been able to give almost 2,000 kids second chances and not an arrest record. So now they could go on to compete on a level playing field to be a firefighter, a police officer, the military, or anything else they want to be. And then third was violent crime. Although I take a holistic approach to our young children and I want to keep the youngsters out of jail, there's a group of people that belong in jail. And these are people who commit violent crimes and destroy lives and destroy families, murderers, people who commit sexual battery, armed robbers, carjackers, people who commit heinous crimes against our children. A lot of these people belong in jail. They need to be incarcerated. So I created a squad called VIPER, and that stands for Violence Intervention Proactive Enforcement. And the VIPER squad goes after the 6% of the criminals in Broward County who actually commit 70% of our violent crime. And I've reduced crime, violent crime, all my years in office, over 20%, which is one of the largest reductions in the state. So we're very proud of our record.
Very commendable and absolutely essential.
Thank you.
Speaking on negatives, what about counterterrorism? We live in a dangerous world where Islamic jihadi terrorists and others disseminate views and ideas that are trying to destroy civilization, basically. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of terrorists, a lot of people who believe in hate crimes, a lot of repulsive people that we have to deal with. We've done everything we could possibly do to try and keep Broward County as safe as possible. Now, I can't go on your show or any other show and say that there's never going to be an act of terrorism in Broward County. Nobody could say that, especially if you have a lone wolf assassin. You don't know how a person, if their switch is going to flip and what they're going to do. So that's why all we can do is train and train and train and be responsive, learn to mitigate, learn to quell an active shooter as quickly as possible. So we do these amazing scenarios a few times a year. We bring all the stakeholders into the training. I'm a member of the National Operations Center. The agency's a member of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, and we're members of the Regional Domestic Security Task Force. And all these task forces that we're assigned to allow us to get real-time intelligence, state-of-the-art training, and allow us to make Broward County as safe as possible.
Speaking of community concerns and cultural matters, this is the Shalom Show on television, and we have Jewish guests, non-Jewish guests, but it so happens you're culturally Jewish, and I thought that would be interesting to our audience.
I am, and I'm being told I'm the first Jewish sheriff in the history of Broward County. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very connected with the clergy, with the rabbis, the Chabad rabbis, the temple rabbis throughout Broward County, but also pastors and, in churches and temples and throughout Broward County, because I feel that our clergy is going to take a big part in any type of critical incidents that develop, and it's very important to be connected. And we got great men and women throughout Broward County who are involved with the clergy, so it's great to know, great to be part of.
Absolutely. Tell us about your plans for the future, sir.
Well, I want to make sure the things we've already accomplished, that we don't take a step back, that we keep on keeping on. We continue to reduce violent crime. We continue to keep kids out of jail. We continue to make BSO a diverse workforce where people want to come to work, and we keep the morale as high as it is. And then the one goal I have is I've given body cameras to our 50 of the first 50 deputies, and over the next year I hope to outfit every BSO deputy with a body camera, because the community needs to know what goes on, and I need to know what goes on.
This is all very interesting. I'd like to ask you, what is the most important quality for a sheriff?
Leadership. You're going to get criticized from time to time, and as I live by this adage, lions don't care about the opinion of sheep. If I know I'm doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, I don't worry about what the critic has to say. I'm the one in the arena. As Teddy Roosevelt said, my face is marred by dust and sweat and blood. And if I fail, I'm going to fail while daring greatly. I won't be marked with a timid leader who knows neither victory nor defeat. That being said, everybody wants to be the leader when the skies are blue and the seas are flat. But anybody can lead during those times. It's when the turbulence comes and unpredictable seas and unpredictable, horrific weather. That's when you have to navigate the storm. That's why you want a strong leader in place. And I am that person. We've met the challenges. We've been transparent. We had an unforeseen, the scourge flakka, a deadly drug, came to us in April of 2015. Approximately a year later, flakka was eliminated from the streets of Broward County. I started out with educating children, educating the moms, the dads, to let them know what this drug could do, that it could take your body temperature and raise it 10 degrees in 30 minutes, shut down your kidneys and you die. You would undergo something called excited delirium, where you'd think you'd have superhuman strength, and oftentimes you would, and they'd dive through windows, and because they were so hot, they would strip their clothes off and run naked through our streets. So we educated, we enforced, we worked together with all our partners, and we were so successful right here in Broward County that I sent a lieutenant from the Broward Sheriff's Office to China with a delegation from the United States of America to petition the Chinese government, who made most, if not all, of the flakka, and tell them, stop creating this poison in your laboratories and stop shipping it to America. And incredibly, the Chinese government cooperated, and flakka's virtually been eliminated from the streets of Broward County.
Very important.
Very important.
What are the challenges facing law enforcement at the present time with the changes in technology? Like, I presume crime is perpetrated differently today than it was 20 years ago.
Sure it is. There's a lot of cybercrime, a lot of white-collar crime. We have to be skilled from a technological standpoint. People are coming up with scams all the time. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a camera. Everything just about you do is filmed. And we understand that, or we should understand that. And the Supreme Court of the United States says you could film a police officer in the performance of his duty as long as you don't obstruct. So we make our deputies aware of this. We know it, and we gotta make the right decisions. We talk about use of force all the time, which is a huge issue. But in the perfect world, and I understand we live in an imperfect world, but in the perfect world, the officer doesn't decide the force he or she uses, never has, never will. The force we used is decided upon by the suspect. If everybody you arrest, when you said turn around, put your hands behind your back, and they did, we never use force ever. So, you know, it's a reactive job.
In general, are law enforcement officers kind of curtailed or hindered by rules and regulations that make them hesitate and give the bad guys an incredible advantage in situations?
No, I don't think so. We need to train hard. We need to rely on our training. We need to do things differently each and every day. We cannot become predictable. We need to improvise, overcome, and adapt to the challenges that face us, and persevere. And you know, years and years and years ago, when Miranda came to be, detectives said, we have to read a suspect his or her rights. We'll never make a case. Not only did the cases continue to be made, but because you read a Miranda, the cases were better than ever. So, you know, when life throws you lemons, you have to turn it into lemonade. So I don't think we're curtailed.
Safety is a prime concern among citizens. What is your department doing to make people feel safer in their homes at this time in history?
Well, one of the most prevalent crimes in Broward County when I became sheriff were burglaries. And a lot of people think, you know, burglaries are done in the dark of night, people sneak in the house. That does happen. But most burglaries are done by young people while we're at work or we're at school. And they break into your house in the middle of the day. And these crimes rise appreciably during the summer months when the kids are out of school. So a couple of years ago, we decided we were going to curtail burglaries during the summer. And I created a team called BAT, Burglary Apprehension Team. And they worked through tools, technology, informants, specifically to curtail burglaries. They were so unbelievably successful. At the end of the summer, I turned the unit into a full-time unit. They continue to fight burglaries full-time. And since I've been sheriff, we've reduced burglaries over 40%, which is an amazing, amazing number. Again, we're safer in our own homes, and you know, it's another step forward for law enforcement.
Implementing essential new programs is really very much to be admired and very commendable. Tell us a little bit about your election campaign, sir.
Stalwart and steady, full speed ahead. I have an amazing report card to give to the Broward County voter. We've had accomplishment after accomplishment, not one scandal over 4 years. I'm asking for your vote on August 30th in the Democratic primary as I run for re-election. We have an amazing record, an amazing report card with the community. So I appreciate you getting out there. Early vote, absentee vote. And if you got to go to the polls on August 30th, vote for me, Scott Israel, Sheriff Scott Israel, on August 30th. The amazing thing that I want to impart to the audience is the elected official in Broward County has to pay to get on the ballot. The sheriff included. I'm the first Democrat in the history of Broward County running county-wide to qualify by petition. That means we didn't have to pay to get on the ballot. Over 12,000 people signed a petition to get me on for free. Now, the important part isn't that I got on for free. It's that 12,000 people willingly said, we want you to be our sheriff. And, you know, the community will get it right, and the community's strongly behind me. I have a lot of support, raising a lot of money and doing the things we need to do. And we're going to get reelected, but can't do it without you.
Well, especially at this troubled time in history, we need dedicated, inspiring leaders such as yourself, Sheriff. A pleasure and honor to have you on the show, and you have my vote absolutely.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, sir. I'll be right back.
behalf of Sheriff Scott Israel and all of the men and women of the Broward Sheriff's Office, we're very excited about the Sheriff's Foundation of Broward County's Academy and Classroom. It's an opportunity for us to show the community as well as members of the foundation some of the behind-the-scenes work that we do at the Sheriff's Office. And we're very excited about having this event tonight with the K-9 unit as well as future events down the road.
The Sheriff's Foundation Academy and Classroom provides students with the opportunity of interacting with BSO, law enforcement, and fire rescue, creating a bridge of communication and understanding between the community and the Broward Sheriff's Office.
Life Extension Foundation was established in 1977 and has grown to become the world's largest consumer-based anti-aging organization. Life-saving achievements taken for granted today were pioneered by Life Extension Foundation decades ago. Life Extension is currently funding $10 million a year in research on significantly extending a healthy human lifespan. Diseases that once plagued humanity have largely been eradicated by scientific innovation. 3 leading causes of death in 1900 compared with how people die today. Smallpox killed millions before it was eliminated in 1979. Life Extension funds research to fight biological aging so that it also will become a relic of the past. Log on to lifeextensionfoundation.org.
This concludes our special tribute to law enforcement men and women nationwide and worldwide. I'm Richard Peretz. Thank you for being with us.